Kalimera, kalispera, kalinichta. No matter where in this wacky, wonderful, and weird world you might be, thank you for making the Highbury Squad part of your day. It's a new week. It's a blank canvas. Let's paint pictures. Let's tell Arsenal stories. It's Monday Madness with Super Kev. Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad. And welcome back to Squad Central here. And joining me once again is my podcast brother from another mother, Mr. Super Kev. Super Kevin Campbell.
Squaddies! Behave yourself and at ease. We're going to get stuck into it. And then we're going to get moving on.
Yes,
at
we
ease,
are.
Squaddies.
We sure are, Super Kev. Thanks to those of you who've joined us in live chat. We know there's a game going on right now, which a lot of you will be watching. So many of you will be watching on replay, commenting on YouTube, or listening on our iTunes channel. Still trying to rectify Spotify, by the way, for you kids. So hold tight. There has been a major hack. If there's anyone out there, maybe Newman did it. I don't know, Kev. Maybe. But I'm not going to give him that much credit.
Maybe
We know he's listening.
Maybe he's tried to put his drawing in.
Maybe
they don't take drawings.
They don't. All the usual suspects in the house. Matty K is here. Trevor is here. Tammy, our chief like officer, is here. Carol's here. Tired Gunnosaurus. You must be tired. It has been quite the season, little Gunnosaurus. Demsek is here. Galispera PW. Tiganis Efizu Galana Ise Afti Deftera. Ola Bamegala. Guna Works is here. Basically, the gang's here, Kev. So let's get stuck in. I've prepared something for you this evening. Usually on Monday, I will do top 5 talking points from the game. But we talked about the game after together. We talked about the game with our good friends, Lee Judges and Dan Potts on the Lee Judges channel. You can go watch that. You guys see me and Kev. We were on there last night. So I wanted to approach things a little differently with you tonight because, look, we know Jesus is amazing. We know Saka is. We know Martinelli is. We know Xhaka has become this beast this season. Thomas Partey, the general in midfield, the nucleus of everything that happens and how we move the ball forward from the back to the front, the protector. We got Benjamin White scoring goals now. We've got Gabriel at the back, who's just been amazing. Ramsdale, who's been superb in goal. So let's look at the next 9 games, and anything can happen in football. And there was something that the gaffer said earlier in March about the substitutes being impactors. And I'm not one who hates the buzzwords, Kev. I don't like all this dressing something up to be something that we know what it is or has been. But there's something about managing a team, being a young manager, getting across to young players, the modern players. It's just a little bit different. So I wanted to look at the impactors and the last 9 games and who potentially can have an impact with this team, whether there's injuries or we don't play well. So let's do this together, everyone, and everyone gets stuck in here. I'm going to start with the first guy. Here is Rob Holding. And wanted to start with Big Bob and play a little video, which is kind of fun and, you'll see. Kev's seen it before. Some of you may not have seen it before. But Rob Holding's made 19 appearances so far this season. Overall, 93 appearances for the Gunners. I think this is his 6th year. And I believe he's only scored the 1 goal. But we don't care about him scoring goals. We just want him to do his job, Kev. So I'm going to play something for you. And then I want to hear what Super Kevin Campbell has to say in a little bit more depth about Rob Holding. Here we go. Arsene, Rob Holding seems to have had a really great tour here in the US. It's been really impressive watching him, actually. And today it even felt like he was not barking orders at his teammates, but he wasn't afraid to be vocal. Positionally, he seems like a natural. Are you seeing that he is potentially a leader in this team? He looks like a really shrewd acquisition at this point.
I agree completely with you, and he should be one of my scouts. Because
I'm for hire.
I think, yes, I'm impressed
Super Kev. I don't know if you recognize that voice that was in the background, that just a little bit there, but it was me, and it was me asking the legend that is Arsene Wenger about Rob Holding. That was in 2016 when the team were in the United States for the tour. Talk to me a little bit, Kev, because Big Bob had amazing FA Cup appearances. There was even a time after that double act with Mertesacker where a lot of Arsenal fans were talking about this guy being a future Arsenal captain. I think some of the problems that Arsenal fans have with him currently, including me a little, even after the compliment to Arsene Wenger, is the Spurs appearance last year. And I think I'm holding on to it maybe a little bit too much. What do you think, Kev?
I agree with you to a point. I agree that you will be fearful because, unfortunately, Rob Holding hasn't played enough top level football. We became a cup team. We needed Mertesacker as part of a free. Wasn't like a back four. Needed Mertesacker as part of a free, so we could just stick to his job, and he's got somebody behind him to guide him, etc. But where we are now, Sophie, this is the thing. Everybody seems to have improved. From Rob Holding not really playing a lot of football, Saliba going down, and him having to come in for the last two games. You know, listen, I know there's a lot of people who don't like the fact. And listen, I understand. We'd rather Saliba there. But let's be brutally honest. We don't know what the real issue with Saliba is. We don't know whether he's going to play this week coming, whether he's going to be back in a month, whether he'll ever play again this season. We don't know. So what we have to do, we have to look at Rob Holding and say to Rob Holding, well, listen, you didn't have a great, time at the back end of last season. We need you on point now, don't we? That's the key. We need him on point. And he's playing with the first 11. There's no messing around. He's playing in the first 11 with all the top players there, not just a makeshift. He's in. He's earned it by merit. So I thought he's had two good games the last couple of games. And Sophie, we might have to rely on him at Anfield. And if that's the case, that's what we have to go with.
Kev, we don't know because there could be, I don't want to dramatize this in any way, but there's a possibility. We don't know. Yesterday, you talked on Lee's show a little bit, and I wanted you to maybe explain to our listeners as well in terms of Saliba's injury with the back. And you said something to us that was kind of poignant, which led me and Lee to think, gosh, is there a chance Saliba might not come back for the rest of the season? I don't talk us through that a little bit with his back and then what you said.
Yeah, I mean, just having a back injury, people think, oh, it's just the back. But the back is so influential to the hamstring, say. And if he's got a back issue and he feels pain in his hamstring because of the back, all of a sudden you got two problems. You got two issues there. Because the club ain't coming out and actually confirming what it is, which rightfully you don't do, we don't know the full extent of what's going on. He might be having sciatica pain down his leg. And anybody who's had sciatica pain, it is horrible. That could go down into your calf and your foot. These things can linger on. And it's, one day you feel okay. You go out there and you'll train. Then you'll go to bed at night. You wake up in the morning and you can't move. That's how fragile it can be. So I think we've just got to play it by ear a little bit, because back injuries, saying that someone who's had a back injury, back operation, I'm telling you now, it is not good.
Have you,
whatsoever.
Kev? Have you had a back?
I had a back operation at Arsenal.
In the when you were older, no, not when you were younger.
When I was older, when I was at Arsenal.
When you, before you left, not too long before you left.
Yeah,
am I wrong?
My last season.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was 25.
I meant like when you were a boy playing there. No, it was when you were older.
Yeah, it was 25. So
What triggered it, Kev? Remind me.
It was went up for a header.
Mm-hmm.
Went over the top of, headed it, went over the top of the guy, landed, and I just felt something go. And I played on for 6 weeks.
With the injury?
Yeah, because at first, you got to remember, at first, and this is the issue, at first, you put ice on it, it feels all right.
Mm-hmm.
But you've got to train and you've got to play. And the more you train and the more you play, it just starts getting, again, you start to get that sciatica pain through your buttock, down your hamstring, into your calf and into your foot. I remember driving home from games and having to pull over and get out the car and walk about for like 2 minutes. Honestly, it was that bad. And it culminated in when we played the Super Cup second leg in Milan. And the flight over was just painful, man. And I played 70 minutes that night against AC Milan, and I had to come off after 70 minutes because I just couldn't move.
Wow.
So I said to the doctor, Doc, I've got to get this sorted out. Flew back, went to see the specialist the next day. He said, how have you played on this for 6 weeks? He said, you're going straight in. I went straight in.
Wow. Because a lot of the squaddies are asking the same question Tammy's asked and Matty asked too about injections. And we see that, of course, a lot in sports. If you can manage, obviously, now it's a lot.
Injections ain't helping you because it can absolutely make the problem worse.
Yeah.
So, you could have all the painkillers you want. Trust me.
It just masks it, doesn't it, Kev?
Yeah,
it just
masks it when it's not. And all you need is somebody then to make physical contact at the wrong spot, which is going to happen. And what we don't want to do is ruin his career because for mine, it was I needed a microdiscectomy. And the doctor said it was 30% chance of playing again.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. 30%.
Did I not know it was that serious?
No, but we've never discussed it.
No.
Because my career went on, but it was a 30-70 operation.
Kev, were you having before you described exactly how it happened at the impact moment when you knew, but did you feel like before were then the niggles? Were there niggles?
No.
Because Saliba fell similarly, didn't he? Do you think like the impact?
Apparently at Fulham he fell, didn't he?
Right.
It happened at Fulham.
Right.
But here's the thing: you then still train, and this is what I said to on Lee Judge's TV to everybody yesterday.
Because they said, why did he play? Yeah.
That was you're right there. So they said, so why did he play then? And I said, it doesn't matter whether he played or not. You still have to train. It can happen in training or a game, so you can't get around it. Unfortunately, so
yeah.
So get around it.
So boys asking if it's possible that Saliba's been playing with the injury, but I don't. I think that it happened, and like similarly to what you're saying, Kev, the roll-on effect could have been in training. It could have been.
He could have
been at home.
Listen, he felt it. He felt it. He felt something. Get some massage, ice it, and all that. Because at the start, it's going to feel okay. And he probably said in the what's the name of them? Sporting Lisbon game that he felt fine. Right. Started the game okay, and then all of a sudden he might have just made one move, and he feels it, Soph. And rightfully so, he said, he's not going to go on.
Kev, you know how I wanted to put this question up from Archangel, who's up at the crack of crack, by the way, watching the show. And he's just brilliant, Archangel, and on YouTube as well with his comments. Thanks for tuning in. Because Kev, we saw the mini doc that Arsenal did with Gabriel Jesus. And You know, sometimes you see players where like before the World Cup, when players were going down injured, you saw tears. They're like, their dream's over, right? Saliba wants to be playing. But how did you handle that, especially at 25? I mean, you know, he's young too.
Well,
or does any player?
Well, I said one thing I did say to myself is I'm definitely part of the 30%. You know, when the doctor said there's a 30% chance that you'll play again, I said, well, I'm definitely part of the 30. Forget the 70. I'm not looking at the 70. The 30 is where I am. So get it done. You know, to take that pain away so far, I remember it's all in the mindset, and it's all part of, again, it's all part of that professional focus that you've got. Wanting to play for the club. You want to get back as quickly as you can. One thing you don't want to do is let your teammates down, because this is a brotherhood, Soph, and being part of the group is so important. So I played on for, what was it, 6 weeks. And in the end, I just couldn't carry on. I just couldn't. You know, getting out the car. I remember I weren't even training in the end, Soph. I was just managing the issue and playing.
You know, it's so hard. And I love how we kind of riff off sometimes, you guys, when we have these spontaneous conversations, because I don't like it when people come after footballers for earning a lot of money. I don't like it at all, because I think that they do make huge sacrifices for a large portion of their young life, which means they're away from their families, their wives, their children. Kev will tell you. And injury can just stop your career just like that. Then what'd you do? Right.
Well,
you know, sports it's a grand career, but the years are tight.
Hey, so listen, what people have to understand, Sophie, is being a professional footballer, you people call it a career. It's a job. Let me tell you, it's a job, and it's a dog-eat-dog world job, because if you're in that first team, everybody's trying to take your place. Everybody. So what do you have to do? One, you've got to concentrate on your health. You've got to concentrate on your performance. You've got to concentrate on doing your job in your position to such a high level that nobody else could take it. But when you're at a club like Arsenal can always go in the transfer market and buy an Ian Wright and buy a Bergkamp and do all this. So it's constantly moving. And it's constant. Okay, what happens when Ian Wright comes in, and there's Ian Wright and Alan Smith, 2 full England internationals, and you're the young one, and then you get dropped. Yeah, you've just won the league title, but you get dropped. What are you going to do? You're going to throw your toys out the pram, or you're going to be a team player, knuckle down? So there's so many things to consider, because I know a lot of people would say, hold on a minute, I've just won the league and da 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 da. No. Right. You want to win with the team, you've got to be a team. You've got to take the good with the bad, no matter what.
Yeah, and Kev, a little bit like the industry, a filmmaker can win an Oscar and make a film, but he's only as good as that last film. And players, it's ruthless. You're only as good as your last game.
But that's the unlike a film, Soph, the time it takes to make a film, to do the film, etc. If he's going to do another film, it ain't the next week.
Correct.
This is game in, game out. Might, Sophie, I remember having a stinker on a Saturday, getting absolute pelters on a Saturday. We play midweek. You score midweek. You're the greatest mid since sliced bread, and then you score on the weekend, and you're unbelievable. You're super Kevin. That is the life of a footballer. That is it. 1 minute,
it's amazing.
Next minute, you're there, Soph.
Yeah, amazing. I disagree with that, Newman. Have you not seen The Hateful Eight, or the one with the what's the one with the with Jamie Foxx and Leonardo DiCaprio? Someone will tell me. All right, let's go carry on. I love how that went off a little bit. So Rob Holding, everyone, you saw you've heard what Kev said. He's not saying he's the answer long term. Neither of us are. But I feel of all the impactors, he's going to be the one.
We're going to need him to be.
That is going to have to really, really show up. And he's going to have to be a Rottweiler when he plays at City, if it gets to that point, Kev. We've seen him against Liverpool before. I love this picture. I had to put it up. He doesn't care. You know, has he mastered the dark arts like Mane? No. But our players don't fear anyone. And I think that is really important. He didn't fear Diego Costa either. Look at him doing the old.
He didn't.
He didn't.
And you know what, Soph? I think this could be the making of Rob Holding.
True facts.
If he has to play more games than we anticipate, and we could get through those games, it's a big tick in the box for Rob Holding.
Definitely.
Because he's never actually fully done it over a period of time, especially like now, Sophie, when it really matters. You know, we're going for the title here.
Yeah, we certainly are. And I wanted to put up a few comments real quick when we talk about each player from the squaddies. He's definitely got the attitude and a lot of the qualities needed for a top-level defender. He just doesn't have the athleticism that is required for this style of football, says Guna Works. Archangel says, I'm not scared of Liverpool. They should be scared of us. We're going to get to that because there's a question from Guns and Yellow Ribbons for you on Liverpool too, Kev. We're going to talk about that a little bit tomorrow night as well, but we'll put that question up in just a second. We need to sell Holding to get better competitor to Saliba, but let's back Holding till the end of the season. I think Tide Gunnosaurus, one of the things with Rob Holding that I said at the top of the show and I saw in the tours that I've covered is he's very popular, Kev.
Leadership.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Anik says Saliba coming back, methinks if he can't, got to support Bob, the hair guy. It is the best hair job ever. I know we say it all the time, but my goodness. Rob Holding is an Arsenal man. He's let down a couple of times, but he's also had some very good performances over his time. I trust him as a squad player and believe he'll be smarter this weekend. We'll see. Ayushman says Holding needs our support. BX thinks fans are fickle and tribal. Of course we are. We're brilliant at it. Demsek says, I'd rather have a fit Holding than ruin Saliba.
So that's a fair shout. That is a fair shout. Do not take a risk on Saliba if he's not going to get through 90 minutes, I tell you.
Yeah.
No point.
Boy taking a little of what I was saying about Turner on the previous show. If Turner is putting in on record that he wouldn't be in the US men's national team without Arteta, I'm expecting Holding to impress off Arteta's instruction. Kev, we've seen players improve, you know, and I think Rob Holding seems, even though he's of his age and we've seen him over 6-7 years, he seems with his two performances better than what we saw towards the end of last season, for sure.
Well, he's playing in the first team. He's playing with all the best players. He's playing with you look beside, you got probably the league's best right back in Ben White beside you on the right-hand side. On the left-hand side, you got arguably one of the best centre-halves in Europe right now. Gabriel playing beside you on the left. You got Thomas Partey in front of you. You got Aaron Ramsdale, you know, arguably one of the best goalkeepers in the Premier League. So you've got everything around you. The key is just do your job. And that's why I say he's done a very good job, because we're not even worried about what anything Rob Holding's done. He's done his job. That'll do me, Soph.
Tammy says, I support him, but I don't trust him under pressure. 00 says he's not popular. Really? Are you there? People feel unthreatened by his presence. He's reached his peak. He's not a competitor. He's a teammate. Why is everyone?
No, I think he means the fans. I don't think he means the team.
Okay.
He's not popular. I think he means with the fans playing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And like Guna Works just wanted to add as well about Xhaka. He can do the same with Holding over the course of the next year or two. I mean, who are we to say that he can't do that? Matty K says the Arsenal anxiety.
Sophie, let me just say this. I remember Andy Linnigan, people digging Andy Linnigan out.
I used to dig him out all the time.
Digging him out. And then
thought he was terrible.
No, but then all of a sudden, Soph,
Bosh.
But he was playing and he was doing great because he'd settled. And I'm not saying, I'm saying Rob Holding has to settle with this first team now until Saliba's right. Saliba's not right, Holding plays. Just do your job, Rob. That'll do.
Yeah, totally. Peter says the problem with Rob Holding, I watched him back when Leeds scored their goal and it was like deja vu from last season. You must get a foot in before they get in the box. I think that's a little unfair because the Leeds goal I thought was more Zinni and Xhaka than Holding, Kev.
Yeah, but you see, again, people who know football understand it. And no disrespect to you, Peter, but if you think that's Rob Holding's fault, come on.
Exactly.
No chance.
And by the way, for all you music lovers out there, and there are many in our Squaddy Nation, I hope you like the sub headline that I came up with. Holding out for a hero. There you go. Don't say we don't give it to you here. Okay. The FA Cup game against Man City was a Premier League game. Holding would have been sent off. Well, we don't know that. All right. Let's get to a couple of other players. We've done a lot on Rob Holding. And you know what? I think we're going to be seeing a lot of him towards the end of the season here. Kev, I wasn't sure if I should put him in as an impactor, but I wanted to put him in. We've talked about him a lot just for 2 seconds.
I know who it is. Yep. Of course he's an impactor.
Okay, tell me.
Sophie, if you would have said to me, Leandro Trossard would have had this impact in such a short space of time, if he'd had half the impact, Sophie, I would have been happy. Half of it. This guy's been a revelation. And come into a new club, come into a club where wearing that badge is heavy, wearing that cannon on your chest is heavy. He's taken to it like a duck to water. Doesn't matter who he's playing with. It seems to work. He links with all the forward players. He can play across all the front spots, as he's proven. And he can make an impact. So he's probably the biggest impactor of them all. Mm-hmm. And you know what? We're going to need him to keep making an impact for the next 9 games. That's for sure.
Kev, he's been here since January. First game, I think, was City. He's had 7 assists and he scored 1 goal. And his impact has been nothing short of sensational, to the point where many of us Arsenal fans are talking about him being maybe, forget our best January signing, maybe the best January signing ever. And Cozzy T is just reiterating what a lot of Arsenal fans are saying in our squaddies in chat. Our best signing this January. The guy's a magician, such a tricky dribbler. Imagine when Trossard has had a preseason with us, he's going to push someone out of the team. Bossard says, oh, we might steal that one. We like that, Steve. Bossard. Trev and the boys over at Guns and Yellow Ribbons, good evening to you guys. Thank you for the video that you sent us. They're very kindly going to take you guys a little behind the walls of some away games next season, and hopefully when they are following us in the Champions League as well. So we'll get some fun stuff behind the scenes from them for next season's show. Excellent singing and made a huge impact. Signed with PL experience, made the difference. He's had more assists than some teams. He certainly has. Kev, this comes up a lot. Is he the new Santi?
No, because they don't play in the same spot. But I could see the comparison because his feet, he's got such quick feet, like Santi in the middle of the pitch. His feet were so quick and he sees things so quick. Trossard sees things quick. Santi saw things quick, although Santi was a little bit deeper. Listen, I just think Trossard was a steal. What's it, 21 million? 21 million.
And like Azat says, he's superb. I liked him at Brighton. There are more great players there. Yeah, we'll raid them. We should raid them this summer. Let's see. I kind of feel like we're talking about superheroes with the Impactors talk. I love it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's right. They are. Listen, there's the Invincibles. If this team wins, will they be the Impactors? What would they be known as? The Incredibles?
They'll be known as the bloody champions! So don't worry about Impactors. We'll be the champions. I don't care. Forget all that impact. We'll be the champions. That's what I want.
Brilliant stuff. K Marlon says Trossard has been on a mission, fits into the team anywhere and everywhere. Listen, I could put these up all day long. You guys are saying you love him. It's beautiful to see. Trossard can also play where Xhaka has been playing. It's just brilliant. Good stuff. Let's see. Thank you, Zerby, for having a disagreement with Trossard. Do you remember, TG, when the infants...
That was last season. Come on, that was
tell them,
last
Kev.
season.
They had
That
their
was last
Farley's
season.
Rust.
With the Farley's Rust last season, guys. Come on.
Cozzy says Kev Trossard is a gift, not a steal.
No, we stole him. What are you talking about?
We stole him. We stole Thomas Partey. We stole Zinchenko. We stole Gabriel Jesus.
Listen, we put the ballies on, mate.
All right. Trossard, I thought I'd throw in there early because Kev, rightly. Okay, Super Kev. Here's one that everyone loves. We're not sure if he'll be here next season, but something tells me that he will still have a part to play in these last 9 games. What say you about the Braveheart, Mr. Kieran Tierney?
I think Kieran Tierney, I think Mikel Arteta will want him to stay. That's for sure. I think because what we're trying to build, Soph, is 2 players for every spot. That's what we're trying to build. And if you've got 2 players for every spot, that means we're taking every competition serious. We have to take every game serious. And there might be some games that Kieran Tierney don't play, but there will be a lot of games next season where he does play. Because I'm sure Mikel Arteta will want to rotate the team. He won't want to do what he's done this season where the majority of the first team who have played in the league especially has kind of been the same. I think he'll rotate because of Champions League football next season, So I think there's an opportunity for Kieran Tierney. Yeah, he could go to Newcastle. Of course he can. Or there'll be clubs coveting him. But I think there's an opportunity for him to play 30, 35 games next season.
Kev, everyone was raving about his performance in that Scotland legendary victory against Spain. And, you know, sometimes he hasn't gotten to play for Scotland even because of Robertson. But the quality's still there, the attitude. And if I may say to everyone, and I don't know if you'll agree with me or not, but Arteta needed someone or a couple of players to be at the heart of the culture change. And I feel, and this is why I will forever love Kieran Tierney, because I think he was the poster boy for what Mikel wanted the new Arsenal to be early on. You know, and there was talk of him being captain and all that jazz as well. And I just think that he had a major impact in attitude adjustment at the club. Do you agree with that?
I agree that Kieran Tierney's attitude is right. I don't think he impacted Mikel Arteta because Mikel Arteta knows what it needed.
No, I'm saying that not impacted Mikel Arteta. I think he had an impact on us fans, the club, the culture.
No, the fans love Kieran Tierney before Mikel.
But I think Mikel saw that in him, don't you think?
No, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay.
Mikel saw his attitude was right. 100% he saw his attitude. And that's the type of attitude you got to have. Because the problem was where you've got Aubameyang, Ozil, who are that far left. You've got Kieran Tierney, who would be on time. He'd come with a Tesco bag. He'd wear his short sleeves, and he'll put his lot in, whether he's having a good game or not. One thing we can never say, Kieran Tierney does not try his hardest every game, because he does. And that's the attitude. The more of those players you have, is the better you're going to become, because you're not carrying anybody. And that part, like I said, I definitely agree with. But from a management point of view, Mikel Arteta knows what is needed in that dressing room. And it's more of the Kieran Tierney attitudes and the Rob Holding attitudes and the Granit
Correct.
Xhaka's attitudes than it is Mesut Ozil or Aubameyang.
Kev, is it also more of a benefit to the team? Because a few people in chat are talking about his injuries. And of course, we were frustrated by that. He's one of the 3 players we missed at the end of last season, which had a massive impact on how things ended. Are we seeing him come on and do better because he's played less?
Of course. And you're seeing him come on with something to prove because Zinchenko has been nothing short of remarkable. So there's nothing better for a player who isn't involved than for the level to be raised.
Mm-hmm.
Because all of a sudden he's got something to prove when he comes on. Everybody who comes on wants to make an impact. Because Sophie, if you don't make an impact when you come on, you might not come on the next game.
Crazy,
so
yeah.
We're talking about impactors. Kieran Tierney's an impactor because he can come on and impact the game.
And Kev, the impactors are going to have a finite their opportunity to impress is even thinner than the starters, right?
Of course.
And nothing's guaranteed with Mikel, but the team picks itself right now. It does. Although we're spoiled for choice up front. He's got a real bit of a pickle there.
No pickle. He could choose who he likes. No, Jonathan. I mean, he can pick.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who he picks up there because we know they can play together. Whoever he chooses.
Well, this is one of the beautiful things about this Arsenal under Mikel Arteta now and how it's evolved in the last 15 months is that he's got players playing the way he want his system, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I love that even when we're recruiting, it's not about the sexy name. It's about who can come in and play the way Mikel wants. And a little bit like the old Arsenal, we're creating stars again. And we've always created stars. And that's just been one of the beautiful things about the culture of our club. I just wanted to get a couple quick comments in. K Marlon says playing fewer games has been good for Tierney. John says spot on for me. Toughness the squad needed at the time. Daniel would love Tierney to stay. He's still one of the best left backs in the Premier League and can only get better. PW says he's got to stay. He's the only left back. If he leaves, we'll have to spend more and get a replacement as good as he is. We're going to see, Cozzy thinks that KT will be staying. He'll have more games next season. Leaving Arsenal will be a mistake. Just ask Kleb and a few others.
But let me just put this in just for a devil's advocate. Kieran Tierney has struggled with fitness.
He has, Kev.
He has struggled with injury. And I think I'm not saying that's the reason why we bought Zinchenko, because I think Mikel Arteta brought Zinchenko in because he knows exactly the impact he can make.
Mm.
But if there's more games for Kieran Tierney and he breaks down, that might be the death knell for him.
Interesting.
Because you've got to be, as a manager, you've got to be able to rely on your defenders. I know injuries are part and parcel of the game, but he's had more than his fair share, hasn't he?
Yeah. And the Tierney that we want is the Tierney who is it here that Ian's talking about? He came on and had an assist as well. And that's the Kieran that we want to be seeing. Okay. Let's move on to the next guy.
That was the Palace game, wasn't it?
Yeah, Palace game. Let's move on to the next guy. Came with a lot of Arsenal fans being like, not again, not another Chelsea player, but he's been good when he's been asked to play, Kev. Maybe one dodgy kind of slow performance since he's been here. The goal against Villa, of course, worth the 12 million, if that is part of the 3 points that drive us to the league title. Thomas Partey, we know, can pick up a niggle at any time. Thanks to Chris Hughton, the old Spurs gaffer, for taking care of Thomas while he was on international leave and leaving him out of the team. Kev, what do you think? Jorginho, is he going to have a bit of a impact here in the last 9 games?
He's going to have to, because we're going to need all hands on deck. because, as you know, funny things happen in football. And what we've got to do, we've got to protect the general in the midfield. You know, if we get up in games like we did on Saturday, fine, we can take him off and then bring Jorginho on. He's got the smarts, he's got the experience to control the midfield. Yeah, his athleticism isn't Thomas Partey, but we still won the game comfortably at the weekend against a decent lead side. So he's another one who we're gonna expect to be able to impact and control that midfield in a certain way. So yeah, he's got a big part to play.
Yeah, definitely. And you guys agree. Let me get some of your comments up here on Jorginho. Reinhardt says Jorge is up. TT says great impact when he doesn't play from the bench. It's just walked into that one. Is he insinuating that he has a great impact when he just doesn't play? I don't know. I'm confused. I'm going to leave that
saying
one.
when he plays, that means when he plays. Great impact when he don't play from the bench too. So when he starts.
I thought he was being funny. Demsek says Jorginho's good cover for Partey. Tammy says he's good coming off the bench. Guns in yellow ribbons, 12 million bargain and better than our cover in that area in Lokonga. I mean, that is it. That is it. The options now far better.
Or a lot
because we've
better.
A lot better. Okay. Let's see who is next on my list. So Jorginho, yes. All right, Kev. Here's one that is very, very close to your heart. Very close to your heart. Talk to me.
Yeah, listen. I think
about
ESR,
Emil.
I think ESR still has a part to play. Although it might be sparing, I think ESR now finds himself in a squad that the levels have gone up, and his injury, rectifying that injury, it was probably a decision by the club because there was enough cover for him. But now he's come back and he's getting himself up to speed. The opportunity is not like last season where he was one of them he'll be one of the first ones to come on. There's other players now who can do a job as well. So when he gets his opportunity, you know, he's going to have to take it. But I'm really pleased. He's not broken down. He scored a goal for the under-21s.
Yeah.
He's there training. Who was it he played against when Saka got injured? He came on, didn't he? And he played, was it Bournemouth?
Bournemouth.
Yeah, he played a long spell at Bournemouth. That done him the world of good. People might not think it done him though. Got good minutes, Premier League minutes in his legs. Who knows, Sophie? This guy, we might just need him at a certain point in a game for him to come on and do a bit of magic.
Yeah.
We might just need, and it might not be a goal. It might just be a jink of the shoulder and a pass, you know, to Jesus or something. That might just be it. But I think he's still got a big part to play.
Yeah, we want to see this again, you know, and we want to see this again. 10 goals off the bench last season. He and Saka just carried us for almost 2 seasons. Just wonderful, joyous to watch. And you're right, Kev, maybe this is it, you know. And I think, let me put this comment up because I do think it's valid in terms of when we're looking at these impactors and when they play. And by the way, I'm using the word that our manager uses, all right? Look, I'm showing you every single day that I'm embracing Mikel more and more. I even like him. I mean, I told you that last week. It's craziness. I don't know what's happened to me. Someone spiked my drink.
No, Sophie. We must be top of the league, love.
Being out of the cups have cost ESR game time. I think this is true, Kev. Because when you know, I think we're kind of fortunate that England under-21 game came up because it benefited him greatly, you know? So, yeah, for sure. We got a very special guest in the house. Yes, Kyle. Welcome to the show.
Super Kyle. Listen, he sent me a couple of videos of his goal and assist the other day. I'm like, what?
We need that on video. We need to be showing that.
He's playing non-league. He's doing all right.
Love
Just
it.
turned 20. He's doing all right.
Brilliant stuff, Kyle. Absolutely. And Kyle is going to be our very special guest on the show when we play Manchester City. So I'll send you a note and I'll hook that date up. But Kyle promised that he would definitely.
I'm actually doing that game for Sky as well.
Right.
In the studio, I think I'm in the studio.
Nice.
But I'm in the Sky Sports News studio. You know, like that. They like to have me on because I go crazy. But I'll be going crazy that night. That's for sure.
I love it. I love it. Let's see. Boy says now, so far, Arteta would be the first one to tell you that what we were doing when he first came in was simply unacceptable. He'll even wonder in the future how he didn't get fired. I love this. I'm going to screen grab this comment. Bosh.
How's he going to hold on? How's he going to wonder how he didn't get fired? He knows how he didn't get fired. He had the hierarchy backing him for what he wanted to do.
I think he's kind of defending me in my early days.
He can defend you, no problem. I'm just saying Arteta doesn't need to know why he didn't get sacked. He knew why he didn't get sacked. Trust me. He had the ownership. He told them his plan, and they were happy to stick with it. So,
Kev, it's like that scene at the end of Godfather 3 where Al Pacino's pretty much lost everyone and killed everyone, and he's sitting on his chair and he's just like, Mikel will be sitting there. I dodged a bullet early in my career. I've won 10 Premier League titles, 3 Champions Leagues, 4 FA Cups. I'm still only 55 and I'm the most decorated manager in the history of the game.
And they wanted me out.
And just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in.
He's going nowhere, I'm telling you.
Good stuff. A lot of love for Kyle as well from the squad. He's well done showing Kyle some love, people. Okay, let's move on to the next player, Emile Smith Rowe. Let's hope he does. Kev, are we going to see Reece again?
Sophie, Reece he's got a part to play because with 9 cup finals to go, Sophie, you never know what one week is going to bring to the next. All you need is a couple of niggles, and then it's the next man up. You know, we are blessed at the moment with probably 4 players. I mean, Eddie's been injured and stuff like that. With 4 players who you say, wow, you know, the manager's got a dilemma. 2 of those get injured, all of a sudden you're like, okay, it's going to be Reece and Smith Rowe and all them we need to come in to do a job. So I think everybody has got an impactors motive to come on and do well. I think the attitude of the squad players who are not in the starting 11 is going to be so vital to what we do. So vital. Because do you know what? So sometimes it's not actually them coming on and making an impact even attacking wise. It might be them coming on and us holding on for a win.
Yeah.
Run about, tackle, you know, just make a nuisance of yourself for like 5-10 minutes. That might just be what we need.
Yeah, Kev, you know, I'm going to, with Reece, and there's this whole Reece, Eddie Balogun conversation going on. You know, we talked about the contract. I've put Eddie in here too because I'm not quite sure if he's going to be back before the end of the season. I think he will. Was he not training last week? Eddie started training again last week.
I think he'll be back.
Is it possible to keep? I mean, you've got Reece, you've got Eddie, you've got I mean, we've got a bit of a good problem here.
Well, I like the problem, because all of the players we're thinking about, they've made an impact. So that's half the battle. They know they can come on and make an impact because they've already made an impact this season. The key is how much opportunity are they going to get? That's going to be the key. And, you know,
when it comes, they have to be ready.
Well, that's why they are the most important. First 11, we know we can rely on them. They've taken us to this point, so we know we can rely on them. It's the squad players who are on the bench, and they've got to have the right attitude. They've got to be hungry. They've got to be fully locked in. You know, they've got to be bought into the game plan. This is so important.
It's very important. Very important. So yes, Reece, the niggle maybe coming in. Eddie is back in training. We don't quite know yet on that front. But a player, Kev, that I want to round this up with. There's two more. Again, some people feel like he hasn't really had an impact for the price tag. Opportunities once more with regards to being out the cups. I think that is a really good point that Fergus brought up too.
Yes.
Reading each other's minds tonight, Kev. I think that in the games that he has played,
he's made an impact.
From February onwards, he's had a good impact.
He made a good impact at Villa. He's made a couple of good impacts at the Emirates, but he's not the finished article. We didn't buy him to be starting this season. We bought him to come in because he's got something that maybe Erdegaard's got, but some of the other players doesn't have. He's got the sight for the pass. And what we need him to do, one, he's got to strengthen up, which I think he's been doing. Two, he's got to understand the physicality and the speed of the Premier League. That's the type of thing he's got to work out. But he can make an impact because he can pick a pass. So, you know, he's one of them players who we don't fully know what we're going to get at times. But Sophie, with 9 games to go, do you know what? One pass through to Saka or Martinelli or Jesus, and it wins us a game, that'll do me. Just one out of 9. Because that could be that game that takes us over the line. We just never know. Yeah.
We never know. We never know where it's going to come from. And, you know, there's still so many big games. And I'll tell you one thing about this guy is, you're looking for someone to come on and score a wonder goal. He's definitely got the ability to do that. Mikel said about the Impactors, I just wanted to read this out. It's something we wanted to change. I discussed it with a few people around other sports and football, and then we discussed it with the team. We wanted to find something that is particular to us. I think it was the best way to express how we feel about the substitutes and how they have to feel towards the team, especially on match day. I think the way we now describe it is more of what we want. If you repeat it more and more and more, and you discuss it more and more and more, it will be closer to than just being a sub. I think, Kev, this is important in that we're seeing a culture outside, but what he's doing, and I think a lot of this is learning from Pep, but also modern football, that you need to keep a squad happy, not just 11 players happy. And it's always been the case. That's never changed in football, has it, Kev? You lived that. You were banging in the goals for Arsenal.
Never change. But it will never change. If you're going to be successful, you've got to have the squad.
Yeah, totally. Okay, I'm going to end on this one. And I'm putting this up. Basically, this has to be a dial 999 moment. Not sure he's quite ready to come in and save the day, is old Kivior. Super Kev, but I have put him on there. He does appear on the bench, and yeah. What is your
but here's
999?
Yeah, but here's one for yourself. You see, we don't know what's going to happen. God forbid anything happens to Gabriel. Having a left-footed player in that position is going to make a difference for us. Now, we don't want to have to rely on him. Of course we don't. This guy's been incredible. But let's be honest, Soph, we didn't expect what happened last season to happen, did we? We didn't expect that to happen.
We did not.
You know, we don't want, we touch wood and all that kind of thing. We don't want anything like that to happen this season because we want a full quota of players going into the last 9 games. I believe if we have a full quota of players going into the last 9 games, I think we win it. I really do.
Yeah.
But unfortunately,
you bring up a great point there, Kev.
Unfortunately, football, Soph, You know, one game. He might have to come in for one game, Soph.
And that game, just like when Rob Holding had to come in for the game against Chelsea in the FA Cup semi-final and played the game of his life alongside Mertesacker. You know, we remember that game when we won the FA Cup. So yeah. What is the score in the Everton-Tottenham game, by the way?
Half-time 0-0.
0-0. They're apparently some of the squaddies have it on in the background, and it's like watching paint dry.
Oh yeah, just right up Everton Street. That let the paint dry. Just with a 1-0. With Everton to take a 1-0 today.
Brilliant stuff. All right, that is it for the Impactors. Let us know what you think in the YouTube comments as well. We've been through the players. Big Bob Holding, whose hair is just a glorifying. It's just a beautiful thing to see. Can he be this Rob Holding? Can he do this over a period of games for the rest of the season? Can we see another legendary performance like this from him? You've got Trossard, who Super Kev believes is the ultimate impactor in this Arsenal team. Kieran Tierney, who we fell in love with early on. What will he have to say between now and the end of the season? You've got Jorginho, who is a born winner, comes with that experience, and whether he's playing or not can be an impactor in the dressing room. Our beloved Emile Smith-Rowe, who doesn't want to see him back celebrating with his best bud and doing this all over again. And Reece Nelson, if he comes on and does what he did against Bournemouth, my goodness, we'll take that all day long. And Fabio, I hope he plays as hot as the old 80s model with that long mane of his. Those calendars used to sell like hotcakes. He can't be called Vieira yet for me. He's still Fabio. He's got to prove that we could say Vieira. Eddie? I think Eddie's done his job this season, Kev. I think Eddie did what he had to do. He kept us rolling, Super Kev, while Jesus was out. I think Eddie's impact has already been sealed for this season.
I think so too. I think you're right. But I still think, and I still would like a couple of goals before the end of the season. I really would. Thank you very much, Taib. Thank you.
Teng Wang thinks that is not a bad B team. Great show. Thank you so much. They're all coming up with their names for this team as well. We'll get to that eventually. Here's the schedule for this week, you guys. Kevin and I will be back for the Tuesday-ish Club tomorrow night. Look out on our community channel and Twitter channel for who will be on the show with us. We have a Talented Gooners episode coming up, Kev, and I think you're a fan of Peter Lewis. He takes pictures of space, and let me tell you something, this picture may not seem like anything to you guys, but is absolutely an unbelievable shot, and I'll tell you why. I have to tell you real quick, this guy's so talented. Our Talented Gooners just continue to grow and grow. That photo shows Venus, Jupiter with its 4 moons in something called a super conjunction, and it only happens every 60 years. It's unbelievable. And he has been he's been following Arsenal for 60 years. And this space thing in his pictures, Kev, I'll tell you, people are going to love it. But he's got stories from the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s. He's lived it and breathed it. Talented Gooners coming up this week. And on Thursday, we've got an Arsenal versus Liverpool preview with the squad from the Anfield Rap. You are not going to want to miss that. It's the squad versus the rappers. I think we've got them beat. Who's coming with me other than Flipper here? Over to you, Kev.
Well, squaddies, look after yourself. We're still top of the league. We love you. Thank you, Taib. Thank you very much, Taib. And you know what, squaddies? Keep your head. Keep focused. And do you see, people are losing their minds that we're still top. People are losing their minds that Arsenal are going for it. It's great, isn't it? Squaddies, at ease, squaddies. Lap it up. And remember, all those who speak bad about us, because we got them in our sights. At ease, squaddies. Good night. At ease.
Lap it up, buttercups. Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.